Well, thank you for having me, everybody. Make sure that I know what I'm doing even. This is actually my life. My real job is that I teach at Mount Horeb High School, and so that's why I had to do this right away. So thank you for making the timing work.
Well, thanks for being a teacher too. This is a hard, difficult time, so thank you for all your hard work there.
Thanks. This is actually, I would tell you that in my teaching style, I'm a very conversational teacher, and so if you all have any questions at any point, please just chime in. I'm used to being interrupted by 14-year-olds, except that this venue doesn't really happen that way, and they just stare at me on the computer. It's a little unnerving some days, so talking to adults is a nice thing. Brad, do you want to say anything before, or you want me just to kind of start?
No, I think go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I joined Friends of the State Street family 4 years ago. And in that time, we've really grown a lot. Just to say that, when I started, I think we were under 10 people who were just sort of crazy and self-funding most of our outreach. And today we've grown into a really strong 501c3 with a lot of new programming going on and a really strong board. And so I'm really proud of the work that we've done. Our mission is to alleviate human suffering by providing help and hope to people experiencing homelessness in Dane County. Today I want to share what we traditionally have done and then how we have coped with the with COVID-19 and trying to work, one, in a way that protects our volunteers, and then also, can help the people who we have always served. And so know that we are 100% a volunteer organization, and part of that then has contributed to us scaling back a little in some things, but being able to help in a lot of really meaningful ways this summer especially. So for those of you who don't know, there's so many familiar names who I've had conversations with in this group, but our organization was founded by Tammy Fleming, and it's been around since 2011. Again, it was a grassroots organization. She came from an idea that she had when she was volunteering in a hospital emergency room, and she saw someone who was homeless and had no resources, and she just really felt compelled to help. I have a little video here of Tammy in an interview, so let me share that. Or not.
My name is Tammy Fleming, and Friends of the State Street family, we started up about 5 years ago. We started by bringing food down to State Street, and we've been now feeding about up to 200 people every Saturday on the street. Rethke Terrace was just built, and it's beautiful, but it was for 60 people. And, there's hundreds more out here that we see every week that are desperate to get in, that have been out here for years. The top of the list, I think the person was out here for 10 years. And it went down from there, but it's still multiple years to have been able to qualify for that Housing First program. And there are people out here who don't have that much time to wait because their health is so compromised, they're so vulnerable. I know that the people who are doing this temporary shelter are doing the best they can with what they have, but we need to fund them more and give them more space, because to have children turned away from shelter, little children, women with babies, to have people with disabilities, people who just get out of the hospital turned away from shelter is not acceptable. I think that the things that we complain about as a municipality are really sad. That I know that the mayor was just talking about passing some sort of ordinance to limit sleeping on the sidewalks. I'm sorry if that's inconvenient for our tourism, but these people have nowhere else they can go. They're out of shelter days. That's all we've given them as an option. And they've been kind of corralled down here to this area. They haven't been allowed to go anywhere else. We've seen people who are terminally ill living under John Nolan Drive Bridge, going through cancer treatment. I mean, that's something I went through myself earlier this year, and I can't even imagine going to radiation and then coming home and laying down under in the dirt between the railroad tracks and the median barrier where the cars are. I can't imagine that. And how is that acceptable for us as a society, as a city, to allow that? How's it acceptable for us to have people who are in wheelchairs and using walkers sleep outside, and elderly people? people who are cognitively disabled. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. And if you look beyond a few abrasive behaviors or interactions, that's what you'll see. If you sit down and actually talk to people, you'll see the tragedy that they've dealt with in their life, or see the circumstances that brought them here and the hole they're in.
Yeah, so I discovered Friends of the State Street Family when a student of mine invited her to speak to my class. And I was like, oh, this summer I'd really like to come out and see what you do. And now I've been here for 4 years, and it's become very much a daily part of my life in terms of really interacting with lots of different organizations and thinking of ways that we can engage with both the people who we serve, but also in terms of creating partnerships that are really important to us as well. Our key values: dignity, collaboration, friendship, trust, and then community. And I think that dignity piece is just so important to highlight. You know, we kind of live by this motto of non-judgment, and that everybody has a story. And it's our kind of mission first just to find out their story. And we do that, of course, we bring a lot of stuff sometimes, but the stuff is just a chance to open a conversation. And it's amazing how just asking a short question, you know, hey, are you hungry, invites us into some people's lives. And it's that consistency of showing up, I think, that allows us to build this incredible trust with the people who we serve downtown. So one of the big things, and I tried to make sure I got everybody's logo here, is that we have really worked to try to build some partnerships. Like I said, when I started, we were very small, and I really didn't often know what everybody else was doing. I was just, you know, a friend on the street. And over time, we've definitely tried to do whatever we can to connect with the people who work in the services. As an all-volunteer organization, we have to rely on the people who are, you know, being paid and working in the services to do a lot of the real work. And a lot of times we're just that liaison between them. You know, we build initial friendships and are able to then start to ask some really big questions as far as, why are people sleeping downtown and not using the shelters? A lot of people have been maybe disengaged from the system and not trusting. Sometimes they just don't know what's available. And so that's kind of where we are, in that we're able to then reach out and to connect with many of the people who are on this phone call as well. So traditionally, and the pictures I have here are pre-COVID, we had teams of volunteers going out 5 or 6 nights a week. We usually would have some kind of sandwich, snacks, just because that's you know, the first line of communication. But also we bring other supplies, especially cold weather, you know, or like, I guess, weather dependent supplies, toiletries, things like that. It's kind of whatever we could carry in a wagon and a backpack. So here's all of us in action. Know that we have gone out, you know, rain or shine, some of the most terrible weather conditions. Definitely, there's been 100 degrees difference within a year of when I have been out myself. I know Brad too, because there's Brad and I in that top left corner when we were out in what was pretty much a blizzard. And I'm pretty sure that picture in the middle, Brad, was during the heat wave when like there was that explosion. Yeah. It was like 100 degrees. Yeah. So yeah. And so they're just amazing people that choose to volunteer with Friends of the State Street Family and are really committed to coming out. It's been just a really incredible experience to get to know these people and to have friends who also, you know, have that spirit of service in our organization. One thing just that we aren't really affiliated with any, while we're definitely a partner, we're not affiliated with government agencies directly, and we don't get funding that way. Really, we're mostly dependent on private donations. And so, you know, a lot of times we just are able to kind of work around the system in a way that some of the agencies aren't. We don't have the same amount of paperwork, for one thing, or like requirements. And so it sometimes lets us get some things done just as volunteers that I think some agencies struggle, you know, to get done. Brad, you want to say anything? I don't want to steal your thunder.
No, that's just
Yeah, that's
why we chose the umbrella as
yeah.
the image for the organization is we're able to sometimes kind of just fill in the gaps between some of the other agencies.
Mhm. Yeah. We do have an outreach line. Probably we get an average of about 50 calls a month. Most of the calls are supply requests for some of the bigger supplies that we get, but also people where they don't know where to turn. You know, it's sort of a 211 kind of a approach. Usually it's us referring out to people, but we also get phone calls from like recently there was a woman who was visiting a specific neighborhood, and the neighbors very much didn't want to go through the police, and they really wanted to help her. And by reaching out to us through the communications line, they were kind of tracking where she was, and we were able to then start a collaboration with the city and Tellurian and us to try to reach out and get her the help that she needed, one, but also to give the neighbors a strategy so that they knew what to say to her, what was good, you know, in terms of giving food versus money was an issue. And they've been really great about keeping that communication as well. And so I guess just to see that as an option of ways that we can work together as well. And that this has been an easy way that we've been able to connect with the community. We fundraise, and we have like 3 big items that we focus on in the year. That doesn't mean that we don't have lots of other supplies, but we are, I'm pretty sure the only, well, maybe not anymore, but we do the city packs, and we probably distribute between 300 and 400 city packs a year. These are special backpacks that are designed for people experiencing homelessness. They have like a special pouch that can keep their documents dry. There is a wristband that they can try to attach to the wrist if they're sleeping. And it's an extra large backpack, probably recognizable for those of you who are downtown. We also distribute about 400 sleeping bags a year. We've had a little bit of a decline actually this year, just because so many people are in hotels, but we're kind of gearing up and wondering what's going to happen when the new year comes. And then last year, I think we gave away about 240 pair of winter boots. We're working right now to organize that. We're not sure exactly how distribution will work this year. In the past, we've used the Beacon as our distribution point, but definitely something that we know that we need. I guess it sounds like this could be kind of a rough winter as well. And then we went on other, besides COVID-19. So during COVID-19, we've really had to shift. We took a big step back initially during quarantine, and nobody went out for 2 weeks. Very much felt like we were abandoning our friends. And then we've tried to kind of slowly work to reconnect. And I think that this partnerships that we've formed this summer have really been so strong and have benefited. And it's really a way that we could maybe work behind the scenes. And so we've been participating with a collaboration with Madison Area Outreach. We participate in the weekly phone calls. We joined the Madison Outreach group that goes out on Wednesday mornings to deliver groceries to remote campers, and have been able to connect supplies that way. Our big motto this summer was really just to share. Whatever we had, we wanted to share with the people that are actually on the front lines. And so whether that was getting some United Way grant money in terms of being able to fight food insecurity, we definitely funneled that money into organizations like Porchlight, the Salvation Army, First United Methodist, that were serving people and we're looking for resources. So like whenever we saw a call for help, you know, the Beacon needed cereal, we were purchasing things like that in order to help make sure that people were fed, but also other supplies as well. We've definitely shared sleeping bags and toiletries, and Mach 1, which is a medical outreach, was serving the medical hotel, and we were able to kind of clear out a lot of the supplies that we already had because it wasn't doing anybody any good in storage, and so they were able to put together some care kits for people who are symptomatic. We also did a major mask drive and collected almost 1,000 of cloth masks. Sewers, kind of united that way. And most of those masks actually have been donated or passed on to different organizations, into the shelters, to the Beacon. And we're still distributing them on the street, clearly, because this hasn't gone away. And so masks need to be replaced. And also, we've just tried to do some volunteer sharing, like where can we do some call outs to send people to, I know some of our volunteers have helped at Porch Light checking men in for health checks, or sending for the food delivery, things like that. Kind of watching what other organizations needing and referring out as well. Brad, you want to do this one? Since you ran the 3 of the things.
Oh, the lunches?
Yeah, well, we've got, oh, you might not be able to see it if you're on your phone. So fixed point outreach, hospitality table, water coolers, and hand washing stations.
Yep.
Some of the
kind
of ideas.
Yep, so the days of the week have varied a little bit, and the locations, but for a lot of this summer, we've done Thursday and Friday lunches down somewhere along the State Street area. We've had tables in a couple of locations during different times during COVID here, where we've just put out snacks and basic supplies, since we couldn't go up and down the street distributing as we normally would, and let them come to the tables to pick the things up. The hand washing stations was something I started early on. I just wanted people to be able to sanitize and hand wash. So I started building some to place downtown, but then of course the city purchased or rented the ones that weren't being used for large events and put those downtown. So we've instead rerouted those over to the campsites so that they have a way to keep their hands washed, and also have been using them for washing dishes. And then during the heat wave this year, when it got 90s, 100s for a couple weeks there, we placed a cooler. Well, I started with putting a cooler down on State Street, and then that disappeared. So then we actually purchased a couple of large coolers, put one on State Street, one up at the Capitol. Some of you will probably have seen them at some point. So they're just bike locked to a signpost or a bench, and we have different volunteers fill those with water and bottles of water and ice every morning. And then they have also, now we've stopped doing the ice, but we are going to continue them through the fall, because we've noted that even beyond the heat issue, a lot of people just don't have access to water with the library and the different locations that they used to refill at closed. They're basically having to purchase bottled water right now, unless we have that outreach out there. So we're going to keep that going up until the point where the coolers won't keep them from freezing on Wisconsin streets.
Yeah, for a little while we did set up a hospitality table, kind of following the little free pantry concept Brad manned it outside of his office, just so that people could pick up some food when everything was quarantined. Once everything opened, we don't have the table there anymore, but have fantasies of people letting us put a little free pantry on their property. If anybody has any connections that way, we really would love to get some more resources just available for daily needs. Keys to Dignity.
Ooh, me again.
You again.
So the Keys to Dignity program is something that was started a few years ago and kind of stalled out. We're trying to get momentum going again. We have a couple of locations we're now working with the city on, but basically they're lockers placed discreetly around the city for individuals to be assigned. So as a lot of the people on these calls know, you know, a lot of our people that are homeless are working or looking for work, and it's hard to do that or seek medical attention or get your kids to school if you're carrying everything you own with you every minute of the day. So these are vertical lockers that are a little bit wider than a high school locker. They're assigned to individuals. So if you have a bank of 5 lockers, and as you can see there, we're willing to paint them, to camouflage, blend them into wherever we place them. If you had a bank of 5 lockers, it's only going to be the 5 people that are assigned that are even going to know they're there and would ever be visiting them. It's not going to become a hangout or place where a lot of people are coming to try and use them. So we're looking for, we have 100 lockers. We have a few that are in use right now. A lot more people are looking for them. We've got 100 lockers ready to go in storage. What we need is sites. We need locations. We need somebody to say, I have a wall outside. These are all outside so that they're accessible 24 hours a day. And we just need people to say, yes, I have a 4-foot deep, 6-foot long, or 10-foot long area outside my property that you could place some lockers. And as soon as we can get those, we'll get many more of them out there.
Yeah, so we have one location right now. That location has asked for only women to be in that site. And it's not in the central area, which is really a place where we feel like we need them the most. I have to say, I mean, just when we look at the amount of stuff that's downtown that's left, and then people, you know, are upset by that. So this would be a chance for people really to keep their stuff safe. The amount of supplies that people report with theft is pretty high. And really kind of just that ultimate piece of dignity, you know, as people are carrying their city packs, it's almost a label. And I've been told that by people before. And wouldn't it be great just to be able to keep stuff away and to give them some flexibility too. This program actually was approved my first summer, so it's in the summer of 2016, and we've only built the 5 lockers. Even though Brad sends emails probably every other week and is really trying to get them connected. We think we have a little bit of momentum now and might be able to use some city property. I wanted to mention to this group, and you know, always looking for ideas, is that we've tried to start a program called Pay It Forward. And the real idea behind it is that we would be funneling money into businesses downtown to then allow our friends to go in as paying customers. So it's a gift card type of a concept. Both Ian's Pizza and Teddy Wedgers have been great in terms of giving us gift certificates at a discount. And this allows us, one, to give our friends experiencing homelessness a warm meal where they can go in, use the restroom, hopefully, maybe be warm and sit inside. We also do get some coffee gift cards, but are really looking for other business partners who would be willing to, you know, talk with us and to come up with an idea. There are different ways we could do this as well. I know that before they closed Espresso Royale had expressed that they might be willing to do kind of a pay it forward where people can buy a cup of coffee and then there's a bank. That would be great too. And so just hoping we can reach out more that way. And I think that also may alleviate some tension sometimes downtown as well. So I do have our emails here and can share, but I thought I'd, you know, open up for, I'm gonna stop share here and turn and just see if people have questions or any kind of conversation that you'd like to have.
Beth and Brad, thank you very much for the excellent presentation. Are we able to share that presentation with the committee members that are not here? Is that all right, Beth?
Yeah, I'll just email it to you. Is that?
That would be great, and I'll send it out because there's some great information. I'm sure we can help with the Pay It Forward program, the Keys to Dignity. We've been working with Sarah Lim and the team to see if there are locations. So absolutely, how we can help, and we will whatever way we can. So we're going to open it up for questions. Looks like we've already got Larry, so you can either use the manage participants function, and in the right-hand corner, you'll see raising your hand, or literally, because we have one screen today, you can raise your hand. So we'll start with Larry. You're up, Larry.
Thank you, Jason. Hi, Beth.
Hi.
So some of the neighbors who attend the meetings of our district committees have concerns about activities that occurred at what normally was called the top of State Street. And we've had lots of discussions, and there are people that understand that the people that were doing the I would say illegal activity are not the same people who are the homeless people. However, when folks set up like food tables up there, they attract both groups. And I was wondering whether is that an area where you guys typically serve at the top of State Street, or you more or less go around to other areas where the homeless people actually live and camp out? Because if you would comment on that, because I know some of our neighbors are not as sympathetic or empathetic to the homeless downtown. How's that for a
Sure.
thing? I mean,
So,
you had problems with the mayor, so you had problems with other people. So if you can comment on that and explain how you deal with those situations.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we
I
would
think
go-
that we do it through a lot of collaboration. I mean, I'm looking at Craig here, who we spent about an hour on the phone talking about one location this summer. For our volunteers, we did try to do some fixed point distribution on State Street throughout the summer. We're just stepping away from that, actually, and trying. Our traditional outreach model is really to go to where people are. We're seeking them out, checking on them where they live, talking to them about what they have right in that spot. And so we're not necessarily serving at a fixed point anymore. So I've been going out on Saturday mornings, which is a great time to just see who's sleeping directly there. And I'm not coming into contact with as many people who are not homeless right now. And then we're bringing, coffee and breakfast and having that kind of community then. I would agree that, when you have a group of people that are vulnerable, that it's easy to prey on them. And so I think that whatever we can do to have the good conversations has really been one of the important pieces. I think instead of, there's been frustration, and doing some problem solving has really been one of the big things that we've tried to do. And knowing who the people are has really helped in some of those communications that we've had over the summer. I don't think that there are necessarily magic solutions there, but I think that knowing the people who we're talking about personally gives us that opportunity to really try to help them figure out a place to be safe themselves and hopefully to move on. I don't know if that really answers your question, but
during the
Brad, I think you had something too. Yeah.
during the height of those issues, when there were those different problems really happening at the top of State Street, we were working with the city and the police department to actually try and pull our people away from the area.
Mhm.
So when at that point we were still doing our nightly up and down, and we actually would avoid the top of State Street in our tour, in our walk, and let the people know that. So most of the truly homeless population, we were doing our best to pull them away from that area. one, keep them away from some of the danger and issues that were occurring, and then just also reduce the number of people there and try and get them out of being blamed for a lot of what was happening as well.
Yeah, if I could just add real quick,
And
the
back
friends
to that answer to Larry's question. She's gone now.
Oh,
Was here for with Karen, but they've now left. They're bad.
Craig, did you want to add
I
something?
think I'm back now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I would just kind of add on to what was said here. The Friends are great to work with from our standpoint. Most of the folks that they're serving and going to and providing outreach to are very, very comfortable with Ken and I, and they know us very, very well and actually like us being around. So, you know, there's been times when Beth has reached out to me and just said, hey, can you just kind of be closer, swing through? Because a lot of times we can just, our presence, detour those other folks who are there for the reasons, excuse me, that we don't want them there for. And the Friends are, you know, like I said, they're very comfortable with us being around. So that works out very well.
I don't know where we were. Sorry, internet. I think Tim is the question. You're up.
Jason, that's me, Tiffany. I think I heard you say. Okay, so
Yes, I'm sorry. My internet's
that's
bad.
okay.
Yes, you Tiffany. Sorry.
Well, I had a little bit of a similar just maybe comment about thankful and appreciative of State Street family, especially during some of the civil unrest time periods. It was definitely a concern about our homeless residents downtown, you know, these individuals who I see regularly, and making sure that they were safe. So I really want to make sure everyone recognizes their hard work during that time. But I wanted to ask Beth maybe just a few more follow-up questions about two things. First was the idea of the free pantry downtown. Maybe you could talk a little bit more about what that would look like or what you would need. And then second, I hear you saying your model has always been about maybe going to people. And so those hospitality hosted tables are something that maybe are going away. But there was some success there too, and there was some community gathering. And so I want maybe just a little bit more thoughts on both of those things for me, if you could.
Oh, Tammy's there. Hi, Tammy.
Oh, good. Hi, Tammy.
Yeah. Back, sorry.
No.
Yeah, so I think a little free pantry, we see them around the city, like the little free libraries. And I think that easily Friends could build, you know, the house or whatever, the structure, and we could stock it. It's just a matter of people being willing to have something on their property. And so, you know, I would see us having non-perishable snacks, perhaps some toiletries in there, probably some business cards or places to go, you know, that they could be able to connect to things as well, or know how to find things. And so
I would really, one of the things that does happen, as you can imagine, as we work in the visitor center, people do stop by often and ask about some things like that. Like, you know, one of the stories that I think was, for me really early on in this job, very heartbreaking, and also just really proved to me the importance of the work that you do, was an individual who came up to me who needed a pair of pants. You know, she had an issue that day and she needed pants. And like, how are we going to find her pants? Well, your people, I mean, in a minute showed up with a pair of pants for this woman. So I know that's not exactly what you could put into a free pantry, because that would be, you know, size and shape specific and things like that. But maybe some of those things might be something we could talk about, whether it was at the visitor center itself, or maybe, you know, let me think a little bit about your idea of the free pantry location.
Okay. Yeah, actually, we do bring supplies to different organizations just to have them. Like the Social Justice Center, for example, you know, we brought wool blankets in the winter. To Craig could talk, like every winter we've been, although I don't know if we can do that this year, but make sure that the police are stocked with warm gear and things like that, so that, you know, when they're driving around, when we're not out, you know, we're not an emergency organization, we're an outreach, you know, and so sometimes it does take us a little bit, but we want supplies in the hands of people when they need them, for sure. And so,
so maybe we could talk about that. And then we also have visibility that might be good just to make sure that people know the work you're doing through that relationship. So I like that. Tell me a little more about those hospitality tables and moving away from them, or when do they work? When do you like doing that?
Well, so in my dream, we would have a weekly meal. We used to. It was called the food run, and it was on Saturday afternoons when there really aren't other meals around the community. We very much got a lot of pressure when the Beacon opened to move that away. So we used to serve up by the History Museum. We had all kinds of groups come in. We usually averaged about 150 to 250 people, and it was very much a sense of community. And I also appreciated, you know, it kind of just, it made people visible, I guess, you know, and that community way as well. And it felt very much like Madison when they pushed us to go through the Beacon, wanted to hide the people who we serve. And yet what happened then is when that meal moved to the Beacon, there are a lot of people who don't want to go to the Beacon, and going indoors was, you know, threatening. And so we used to have it where there would be a hot meal, and then they also could pack a lunch so that they had, you know, something for the rest of the weekend. And it was really cool to watch how many different community groups came in. It could be Vet Connect, it could be the Buddhist temple, you know, it could be, you know, just families. It was very much of a place where, you know, like sometimes we would get, you know, the girls basketball team or something like that. So it was really a way of communities bringing in. And so that I miss. I do think that just as things sort of escalated this summer, that it was hard to get people to the fixed point. Sometimes just based on, you know, the gathering of people and it being intimidating. There are some groups of people who didn't want to go see each other, you know, based on territory or whatever. And some people just not even able to move. So I do think that when we're out on outreach just a handful of times in the week, it's good for us to go and find the people who we know need help. But having that regular community meal was really a special time to me. I mean, I used to just love, you know, as a volunteer, knowing that another group was really taking care of the food, and I just show up with my backpack and get to just talk with people and know that they wander in. So I would love to see it again.
As you can imagine, you know, in the role that I serve, I get both the praises and the criticisms of those projects, you know. And I think what I would just comment on was what I do recognize is when Friends of the State Street Family was the organizer, it went well. It was cleaned up afterwards. It was maintained. And so I understand why we can't do that now in the times of the COVID, but maybe in the future, you know, if we want to talk about that, maybe it's a more in collaboration so that we can make sure that that visibility is there. Because I agree with you that, you know, one of the things that is maybe missing is just community downtown right now, you know, just in general, in all the places that I work, community is missing because we can't have it. So we'll think about ways to build that back up. But again, just thank you for your work and thanks for your feedback on those two items.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tiffany, very much for the good questions. My internet today. Can you hear me now? Hopefully you can hear me now. Thank you, Brad. Someone nodded. So I think we're running out of time because I know Beth has to go teach, and so that's a big part of the day. So we want to thank Beth. Thank you, Tammy, for being here, the founder and creator of Friends. So we're so thankful you guys are here. Thank you to Brad, Tammy, a good old long time no see, Tammy. It's been certainly way too long. Thank you for all of your help. Know that everyone at DMI, we're here to help. But any connections that Brad, Beth, you guys need, your new members to DMI. So whatever we can do to make those connections, like with Tiffany and Larry and the people that were on today asking the questions, we are here to help. So again, thank you so much for your doing. And also, I think we wanted to introduce, was it Maggie from Tellurian is also with Karen. Karen's got quite the team here today. I like Karen. She's bringing the everyone to the meeting. So thank you.
So I'm singing the praises of DMI, and I was so grateful Tammy's here. This is Francesca with Tellurian. And then we'll just walk super quick. I'm going to run with my laptop.
I love this. This is amazing.
I'm running because I'm so grateful to Friends of the State Street Family. I don't know any other group that has brought people together like Friends of the State Street. So here we are coming out to the parking lot.
If I could just, Karen, while
Every
you're,
Wednesday, this is what happens.
yeah, that on Wednesdays, there are like 5 different groups that we all come together and divide up campsites and then go out and deliver groceries and supplies. So it's that collaboration among organizations is really cool.
Awesome.
So,
Look at that. This is amazing. This is
right
amazing.
here. Sarah, pop your head here quick. And Brenda, where are you? Is that you? Brenda, Executive Director of.
It's like Mach 1, the City of Madison, Tellurian, Porchlight, Briar Patch, Friends, that have been able to come together, and it's been a really
Importantly, these collaborations. Campaigns and
Well, I'm back. I don't know where we are in the meeting anymore. Sorry, my internet is not today.
Jason, this is the funniest meeting I've been on. I love it. Thanks. Thanks for the morning laugh.
I think Tiffany, you're up with your report. If I think we know where we are. I've never had internet this.
That's kind of what I thought. I thought maybe we could jump to my report. So
Yes, please. We'll jump to Tiffany's report, and if I go out again, Officer Kolka, you're up next.
Okay. Well, I will
flip out, everybody. Thank you so much for having us. I will send that power. Okay, thank you.
Beth, thank
Please
you.
do, Beth.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Technology, our friend and our foe these days. Okay.
Got that right this morning.
Oh, yeah. So, it is continuing as an evolution downtown. We constantly have things kind of thrown at our small businesses. Many of you have seen the recent conversations about students' return and what that meant for health and safety and our businesses downtown. So our work is never ending in just trying to communicate information back and forth from businesses to the health department or vice versa, making sure they know what they should be doing as small businesses. We're really worried. It's fourth quarter. It's not been a good year for sales for any of our retailers. So we're really right now in this month focusing most of our energies on our preparations for the last quarter. And unfortunately, there's still great concern as it relates to the boards and civil unrest. And so we would, we're a downtown shopping district and people shop, they window shop, they browse, they look inside. So we're really struggling. We want our businesses to consider taking down their boards. We would like them to, be optimistic and move forward, but we also are realistic. And many of them are concerned as it relates to the election that there may be some more civil unrest or there may be something else happening. So boards are going to stay up for many of our businesses, but you'll see some of them modified. And you can go take a look. Little Luxuries is leading the way in a modification effort where she's modified her board so she can put them back up again if she needs to, but she also has partially pulled them down. So you can window shop also. You may be aware of this already, but there's no Freak Fest and there's no Downtown Family Halloween event. I think you guys probably, I don't know if there's been a public announcement on those things, but we're not really planning those. So again, we're focusing on our holiday efforts and we're working on a couple different things, including a gift certificate sale that would allow you to buy gift certificates from many of our downtown businesses. And then we are working on putting forward the Downtown Madison Fund. It's a fund at the Madison Community Foundation. I wish the names were a little bit more exciting because we've got the Downtown Madison Fund at the Madison Community Foundation, but that's actually what it is. And our executive committee will meet today to discuss the future of that fund, what kind of fundraising efforts they're going to put forward, what the first project will be out of that fundraising effort, and how to go about doing so. So one of the reasons they'll be looking at that is that we're at this period of holiday, as I mentioned to many of you. And historically, we've done lots of things like special events, or we've done lighting, or we've done, we brought Santa down. We did all that holiday hoopla last year. We're not sure we're going to be able to do all those things for two different reasons. One, it is still, there's a pandemic and all of us need to be safe and smart about how we gather. And then two, because of that same reason, the Business Improvement District has not had its regular event schedule. So financially, we don't have the funds that we normally do to do holiday lights. So I'm not telling you there's not going to be any Christmas lights downtown, or holiday lights, or whatever you want to call them. But I am telling you right now that there probably won't be very many. We do hope that we still can put the snowflakes up in partnership with the city. That's a cost that's already incorporated into our budget and theirs. But other than that, it might be up to you to help us get creative and think about how we can make downtown look a little bit more vibrant and welcoming in the holiday season, knowing that nobody is going to really want to do anything until probably the second part of November. They're all so nervous about the future of their businesses. So it's a little uneasy. What I guess I will say to you is that I just appreciate your support in trying to create a downtown that is a safe, welcoming place for everyone. And that's why I show up here to these meetings. That's why Michelle is here. We appreciate all that you are doing in your organizations and your operations to do that together. And I'll keep it short with that, but I would field any questions if anyone had any.
Perfect. We have first question was from Jonathan, although I don't know if that was because of the internet. Was that for Tiffany or was that for Brad and the team? Oh, you're muted.
That was actually for Brad. I wanted to say, I met Tammy back in 2012, and it's amazing how that organization has changed and grown over the years and professionalized. It's wonderful to see. I got to go though. Thanks. See y'all.
Thanks. Thank you. Sorry about my technical issues. Question for Tiffany from Peggy. Peggy, you got a question for Tiffany?
I do. Real quick one. Just curious if there is a link, Tiffany, to any downtown businesses, like maybe that your group has, where we can shop those merchants that have e-commerce on their sites?
Excellent. So on our website, visit downtownmadison.com. There's a page that's called 2020 Updates, and Michelle and I were working on it yesterday. We're going to break out some even more subset lists on that page. Right now, what we have, Peggy, is the places that have online gift certificates available for sale. And now the next effort will be exactly what you asked, is to put that list of which businesses actually have online shopping available, which unfortunately is not many, but surprisingly is more than you know. Like, I was really happy to discover that you now can purchase from Anthology online. So, we'll put that together. I don't have it today, but it's something we'll add to the list, and I'll make sure you get it directly when it's ready.
Thank you. Thank you. And just a quick note on that, and for anybody else on the thing, we did find a vendor for $750 will help update sites to add e-commerce, which is pretty affordable from a website standpoint. So if you want that info, let me know. Thanks.
I'll take it. I'm happy to share it too.
Peggy, thank you as always. Peggy's been an amazing leader with the work on the Governor's Small Business Council. Any more questions for Tiffany? Perfect.
Okay,
and then Officer Kalka, in 1 minute or 2 minutes, do you have an update?
I can make it real quick. So
sorry, we ran out of time.
Oh, not a problem. We continue to work with those outreach providers, Ken and I, and passing on names to people who we think are in need in this time, and that seems to be a pretty good partnership. As far as a little bit more with like the businesses and what Tiffany had said and taking boards down, we are planning and staffing for obviously the unknowns, but prepared for what possibly may happen moving into the election time, and realize that there could be, but we don't know what is out there yet for civil unrest. We also know that there are some decisions coming out in other cities around not only Wisconsin, but also the nation, which could have an impact on things in Madison as well. So our command staff is looking at all of that in order to try to keep our downtown and rest of the city safe. Did I do all right in a quick minute?
There we go. Now I'm just muted. Any questions for Officer Kalka, who did it so perfectly in 1 to 2 minutes? Any questions? Perfect. I will invite everyone again to our every other week series with MPD on the de-escalation training we had last week, Captain Donahue next week. So just a forum for people to talk and for people to ask their questions and find out what's going on. That's a week from tomorrow at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, yes, I'm sorry, with MPD Central Precinct Captain Kelly Donahue. So please email me if you have information. I will give you a 30-second update on the downtown group, which we talked about last time. That group is continuing to work in earnest. Again, that's a group of diverse leaders throughout the city working on the short and long-term goals and ideas for downtown to make it a vibrant and equitable place for everybody. The group has moved into the phase of creating 3 task forces in equity, economic development, and activation and programming. Those task forces are being created as we speak, and we're looking for volunteers for those task forces. So if you're interested, please let me know. They're going to take the ideas that were generated and the ideas that continue to come in and bring them to implementation. Since we have so many both public and private partners in it, we think we can get a lot done. So there's a quick update there. Anything I missed from anyone else that would like to give an update here now?
I just wanted to say thank you for hearing us this morning, and encourage any businesses, you know, and especially in the downtown area, that have any issues or concerns to please use us as a resource. Reach out to us to, you know, if we can hopefully find a way to breach or solve an issue before it becomes a larger one. We're happy to do so with the relationships we've built. And with that, I'm going to step off. My sister and I are actually in DC for Justice Ginsburg's funeral, so we're gonna be heading over.
Wow, good, awesome. I'm glad you're able to make it that sad but yet important event. Thank you to Brad, and thank you to Beth for this, your amazing continued work. We will absolutely be in touch. If anyone needs anything else, please let us know. We're here, just contact us at DMI. We'll see you again in a month. Thank you to Kathy, to Mary for leading us in this committee. We really do appreciate it. Hope you all have a good day and stay healthy. Thank you very much.